What's up, guys? So I want to talk coaching real quick. Should you hire a coach? The pros, the cons, and some of the pitfalls that you may run into. So, as many of you know, I'm a coach myself, but I actually work with the coach. So I went through this whole process of like, should I hire a coach myself? You know what I mean? And these are just some of the considerations that I had, me personally, So let's start with the good, right? The pros. Um, I think the number one thing that I've gotten out of it is just the measure of accountability, right? Knowing that I have to send a check in to my coach every week and tell him whether I stuck to the plan or not has helped me tremendously. Uh, I would never get too far off the path that I was supposed to be on because I do love this lifestyle, so it's relatively easy for me. But I'm able to get away with a lot, like kind of being loosey goosey on my diet. So having somebody to check in with, and just I have to be black and white. I have to give the proper feedback to say, hey, I followed this diet or I didn't follow the diet has helped me tremendously. And so in the last year since I hired my coach, I've been just like straight up on point, pretty much nonstop. And then another pro that comes along with hiring a coach is ideally, that person is more knowledgeable than you. So even if you think that you know a lot, there's always going to be somebody out there that knows more than you, or maybe knows just different things than you. Maybe it's not better than you, but knows, just has a different angle on things. And so when you work with an individual like that, you add their knowledge to your knowledge base, which is huge. And that's just been something I've experienced as well. Another pro would be just a coach can help you to stay on track. So previously I would get into situations where it's like, oh, I want to put on some size, and then I'd get maybe a little bit fluffy or something like that, which is, generally speaking, going to be a part of the process, but can be kind of a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. And it was for me, which is why I never really tried to get bigger. And I would find myself like, getting to that point where I was uncomfortable and being like, man, fuck this. Like, I'm going to go ahead and peel this weight off. And then you get into this situation where, whether you're trying to get bigger, get shredded, get stronger, whatever, if you're constantly, taking steps towards your goal and then pulling back and doing something different, you're basically just going to get nowhere fast. And so having a coach can help you to just fine hone and stay focused on the goals that you've set, you know what I mean? And they'll remind you like, hey, like you came to me, this is what you wanted to do, let's fucking do that. You know what I mean? So another pro would be just eliminating guesswork. And that just comes with the same thing. Like the person should know a little bit more than you, or maybe have a different angle. There's a lot of information out there, a lot, which is great. Like you can do a lot of this on your own. You don't need a coach, but having a coach in your corner eliminates a lot of guesswork because they are going to have a system in place. They're going to have worked with, dozens, hundreds, thousands of people, and more or less have a system in place that they know works for the majority of people, right? So those are just some of the pros. I think I covered everything. I got a little cheat sheet down here. So let's go into some of the cons, some of the bad that can come along with hiring a coach. And there's not many, to be honest with you. The biggest thing that I can think that would stop most people, and myself included, from hiring a coach is just the cost of it, right? So hiring a coach is not necessarily cheap. I wouldn't say it's expensive. Coaches can range anywhere from 150 to 300 or more a month, but generally what I see in the fitness space, bodybuilding, powerlifting, is going to be 150 to 300 a month. So to some people that's like, oh my God, like that's too much money. I can't do that. And it really comes down to a matter of perspective, because If you look at your finances, how much are you spending on coffee every week? How much are you spending on little bullshit things that you spend your money on? If you really sat down and analyzed your finances, you'd be able to come up with the money very easily. I almost promise you that. So it really is a matter of perspective. How important is your health? How important are, getting to your goals? Like, how important is this to you? If it's important, you're going to find a way to make that shit happen. You know what I mean? And it just might take a little investigation. Look to see where you can trim some of the fat and get rid of some of that just mindless spending. So the other thing that I can think of that's kind of a con is that the market is saturated, right? So you go on like Instagram or wherever you're at, and everybody's a coach. Literally everybody is a coach nowadays. And I don't want to knock people that want to be a coach. Everybody has to start somewhere, right? But it gets hard to know like who everybody's claiming to be a coach. Who should I hire? And so my first coach I hired seemed to be a reputable person, and he was a terrible coach. The experience that I've had with my most recent coach and the very first coach I hired is a night and day difference. The first coach was not a coach, and he's, popular Instagram figure, very strong guy, incredible physique. And I just started getting red flags like a month into training. I'm like, this is not dialed in for me. This is not custom. And it was just a lot of things weren't really making sense. And I've since then had to cut ties. I will generally say that just because somebody has a big following, a great physique, or whatever, that doesn't mean that they're going to be a great coach. I will tell you that firsthand. Sometimes it can mean the opposite. When they have a big following, perhaps they've taken on a client load that is too big, and that forces them to create cookie cutter programs that they just dish out to everybody because they literally don't have the time to devote to each client the way that they should. Not all coaches are like that. There are good coaches out there. I'm pretty sure that my coach, Justin Harris, has a very large client load, and I've never felt that anything that he's done or any communication he's given me has been cookie cutter. Though I'm sure, again, he has a system, and the system is going to largely work for most people. But within that, when you look to hire a coach, just make sure you're doing some research, right? Any decent coach is going to tag their clients. So if you look on my page, anytime that I post my client stuff, I tag them. So you could go and ask that person, hey, how is Kevin as a coach? When you get onto pages that post a bunch of transformations, but they're never tagging the people that are in the pictures, that's a red flag, because it is so common for people to just pull random transformation pictures off of the internet and claim them as their own. And they're not. It is very, very, very common. So do your research, make sure that you're talking to their clients and seeing what their feedback is. And not just their star clients, because a lot of coaches will post just their star clients. Go into their tagged photos. So when people tag them, go and look at some of those people, what they look like, talk to them, see what the feedback is from them. And just beyond that, you should be picking a coach that walks the walk and talks the talk, or has at some point in time. So if you're getting into powerlifting or want to do a powerlifting competition, you should probably be coached by somebody that does fucking powerlifting and has done powerlifting competitions, like more than just one. And that's what you'll see a lot, is that people on Instagram will get into shape once or twice, and now they're our fucking coach. So, you really just, again, got to do your research, and everybody has to start somewhere. I'm not trying to knock any guys trying to get into the game like that, but me personally, I've been a trainer for 7-8 years in person. I've been doing online coaching for 2 years. I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands of clients, gotten people in shape, gotten people to add muscle, gotten people stronger, competition prep. I don't do physique prep for bodybuilding, not yet. That's something I'm trying to get into, but I need to gain the real world experience before I start advertising for that. So that's not something that I'm willing to take on at this time. unless you want me to experiment on you. I just tell people straight up. And I have a couple clients that are cool with that, and that we're going to be doing some competition prep. But just make sure that you do your research on who you want to hire, because people will turn and burn. People want to get that transformation picture, and then it's adios. And then beyond that, some people will just downright be a waste of money. So on the back end of that, I think something I need to say, just because now I'm in this position where I'm a coach, I've worked with a bunch of people at this point, right? And before you hire a coach, you need to make sure that you're fucking coachable. And I get this a lot, where I'll have somebody reach out to me or hire me for coaching, and they're super motivated, they're super gung-ho. Maybe they've been following me for a while, or maybe even they know me personally or something like that. And so they're like, hey, maybe if this guy can do it, I can do it, or whatever is going through their mind that has, lit that flame and made them want to reach out and start working with me. And it's frustrating because that flame dies out very quickly. That motivation leaves very quickly. If you hire a coach, make sure that you're in a point in time in your life when you can follow a plan, where you really are not going to let your excuses take control of you, because you're just going to end up wasting your money. Make sure that you're able to be honest with yourself and with your coach. If you're not able to give your coach honest feedback regarding what you've done, whether you're on point with your diet, on point with your training, on point with your cardio, if you're just lying to your coach, you're just lying to yourself and wasting your money. So if you don't have the ability to do that, don't hire a coach. Definitely don't fucking hire me, because I'm not a babysitter. And that's kind of my next point, actually, with making sure that you're coachable, is and almost kind of ties into picking the coach for you. Make sure that they're compatible, maybe their personality or their coaching style. So I don't babysit people. I give you a plan. I give you all the information that you need, and explain everything that we're doing, why. But I am mostly going to be pointing out what you're doing wrong versus giving you pats on the back for what you should already be doing right, because patting you on the back is not going to make you better. Looking at analyzing what you're doing wrong, as far as form, diet, whatever it is, that's the only way you're going to improve. And then make sure that you are, when you reach out to a coach, when you want to hire a coach, make sure that you're setting realistic goals. And the coach should help you with that. That should be another red flag. Like if you come to a coach and you're like, I want to fucking put on 20 pounds of muscle, I want to get ripped, I want to add muscle, I want to do it. And the coach is like, yeah, we can do all that. That's not going to be realistic for a lot of people. You're going to need to set realistic goals. And the reality of this shit is that it takes time. It's not going to be a 30-day transformation. I'm not that guy. You'll find those people on Instagram, right? But I'm not that person. I'm not in this for 30-day transformation, 60-day, whatever. It's going to be a long road, especially if you want to get to the point where you have a decent amount of muscle on your body. Just make sure that you're setting realistic goals. And then the last thing is just regarding are you coachable, is just make sure that you trust your coach and that you're going to just follow the plan. It doesn't make sense if you get the plan from your coach, program, whatever it is, and then you start asking all your buddies and shit like, well, my coach said this. And then you got a friend that's like, no, that's stupid. You should do this. You're just back at square one. If you don't have the ability or the confidence to really trust in your coach, don't hire one. You got to let the coach take the wheel and steer the ship, and you just need to show up and fucking perform. That's it. So I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about. I hope this video was helpful. It's just some insight, because this is literally a situation that I've been in. So yeah, if you like the video, I guess like the video. If you think that somebody you know would benefit from this video, share it with them. And I will see you on the next one. See you guys.